Hey there, Julie here, welcome back. Today's video I'm going to do an edit in Nik Collection 8 Silver Efex. I'm going to do this image here and I'm going to take it from Photoshop into Silver Efex and I'm going to show you everything from start to finish. So let's jump in. Okay, so before I jump into Silver Efex, I just went and did a little bit of a cleanup. I just had a few blemishes to remove. I did a little bit of a sparkle and lash detail. I also did a little bit of skin softening and I just put a little radial glow here. She was already looking towards the light. I just wanted to emphasize that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to open this in Nik 8 Silver Efex. So I'm just going to click open. Now, the first thing that it does, and this is new and pretty cool, it has brought in all the masks that I have used on my image so far and bring them all in. So I can bring these in. So I'm just going to click on select all. I don't know whether I'm going to use them or not, but bringing them in allows me to have that option. So then I'm just going to click open and it will open in Silver Efex. Okay, so I've now got it open in Silver Efex and it has by default just open it into a neutral. So all it has done is converted it to black and white. I've still got my original color image down here. And then I can go through and start playing with different portraits. Now I might jump over to just the portraits and have a little look at what we've got there. So we've got dark glow, which I immediately have a look at and go, ooh, that's actually pretty cool. There's dark selenium, intensifier, silver. It depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for something a little more contrastly, intense grain, no. Classic portrait, cool tones. Classic portrait Hollywood, no, it's a bit too dark. That's not bad. But I did like that dark selenium. It's quite nice. The dark glow was quite nice too, but it did have that sort of hot spot. So I'm going to use the dark selenium, which has given some toning to the image. So if I jump over to the right hand side, I now have all of this available to me. So I can pop in some different film types. So if I wanted to play with some different film types, I can do that. I can play with the sensitivity of the colors. So remember that the reds and oranges, or reds and yellows, are going to be more in your skin tone. So this is the sensitivity of those colors. So I can boost those and play around with it. There is a subtle S curve. I can play with that if I wish to. Grain, I can play around, I can make that quite grainy, or I could keep it quite hard, and I can go to softness. So then you've got basic adjustments. I can drop the brightness just a little bit. I can maybe bring the shadows up just a touch more. Dynamic brightness. Just a smidgen. Highlights, I might actually bring those down just a touch. Contrast, I can bring in more contrast or less. And of course these are all global adjustments. I'm going to come in a minute and do some local adjustments, but I'm just doing some basic global adjustments. Now we come down to local adjustments, but I'm still just going to skip those just for a minute and I'm going to come into some of the toning. So there's selenium, but there's different options. So you've got 4, 5, 6. I could go into something else like a blue toner if I want to. There is split tones that I could do, neutral. You've got cyanotype, there's coffee, copper, sepia, amber type. So there's quite a lot in there, so you can have a play around with all of those. I'm just going to stick with this selenium 6 for the moment. I can then also introduce the strength, so that's bringing it up to almost 100%. It's quite blue. It's probably more blue than what I want. I want just a hint, so I'm going to drop that back to about 40%. The silver hue, I can change that as well. So if I want the silver hue to be more green or more blue, then you've got silver toning, how much of that you want. So it really is quite, so you sort of silver toning and the strength are both working in there together. Then you've got the balance of how much you want to go from before. A lot in there to come up with. So then you've got vignettes. You can have lens fall off, or you can have white frames, black frames, or have them turned on. Again, you can have the amount, whether you want it more rectangle or more circle, the shape, the size, etc. Image borders. You can play with different image borders. So there's lots of different types of image borders and frames that you can put on. I'm going to take it off just for the moment. So now what I want to do, that I've got most of that all set, is I want to come in and I want to actually start playing with the local adjustments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set an elliptical point. I'm just going to put that on her cheek, and I'm going to just move that around. Now I just want to increase the brightness a little bit. Now I'm going to come into my, I want to add a control line. And I want to make that quite dark through here. Maybe take that off the face a little bit. And these can be moved around, and you can add more and more and more. So I've got the first one, the second one. I'm going to put in another one because I want to put another control. I want to sort of make this bottom area quite a bit dark. And then I'm going to bring another control point in here. I want to make that brighter. I might actually bring that onto her face. It doesn't matter if you're off the page. Going to bring the contrast up. Going to bring the chrominance down a little bit. And bring the diffusion up just to soften that off a little bit as well. So if I bring in the before and after, so that's before and that's after. So I've brought in quite a bit. I can still keep playing around with that, but I think I'm quite happy with that. I might just bring, because I brought control point in there, I might just go back to that first one and bring that brightness down. Just a touch. So there's so much that you can do in Silver Efex. And of course now, if I wanted to access my masks, I would go down to local adjustments and I could bring in any of those masks and I could work on them. So for instance, if I wanted to bring in bright sparkly eyes, it has brought that mask in and I could increase the brightness. If I wanted to bring in something else, maybe I'll bring in that glow. And it's adding them all down the bottom here. And play around with that a little bit as well. So if I take this back to my full image, that's it there. Now, a couple of things I can do from here. I can save this as a preset. So I'm going to save this as a preset. I'm just going to call this Regal Peta because this is Peta and this is Regal, and save that. So if I then go down to my personal favorites, there it is down there. Now I did do one previous to that where I had done another one with a slightly different edit as well. So I've saved that and I'm going to send that as a layer back to Photoshop, or I can click in here and I can save as a smart object, an active layer, a new layer, etc. So you've got different options, and I'm going to hit apply. I can save from here and go directly as a TIFF. If I wanted to go into any of the other Nik products like Color or Vivisa, Define, or even the sharpener, I can go there from here. But what I'm just going to do is I'm just going to hit apply, and it's going to save this image straight back into Photoshop, so I can continue editing from there, or I can just finish it off from there. Now this works the same from Lightroom Classic, however you cannot import your masks. So if you're not stressed about using your masks or not that you created in Lightroom, then sure, open it from Lightroom directly into Silver Efex. But if you want to import all of the presets and masks that you used in Photoshop, then go from Photoshop into Silver Efex. So it's just taking a minute to load all that up. Okay, so it has loaded that first layer that I saved, and then it has saved the final layer. From here I can just export it as a normal JPEG, or if I went from Lightroom to Photoshop and then into Silver Efex, I can now save it from here and that will automatically go back to Lightroom. So that's pretty much it for today's edit on Silver Efex. I will put the before and the after up so you can have a look at them side by side, and that's it. So don't forget, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, maybe even subscribe, because it certainly helps my channel out. And thanks for watching, and I will see you next time on YouTube. Bye.